Wagwan YouTube, what you saying? It is I, Diligent Fingers, and welcome back to another video. Right now, you're going to get into a track breakdown video taken from my Motion Gang Members Club, which is a Patreon style membership service that I set up back in January. If you want to join the Members Club and get these videos as soon as they come out, just go to www.diligentfingers.uk, go to memberships, pick tier 2, and you'll be able to get exclusive monthly tracks and track breakdown videos like this, plus merch like what I'm wearing now. But until then, enjoy the video. Yes, Wagwan Gang, what you saying? I hope everybody is blessed. Welcome back to another track breakdown. Big love to everybody that participated in the poll that I did. It was a choice of Bad Thomas, Move Me, my remix of Jasmine by Valiant MC and Flow Anastasia, and a hip hop track that I'd done as well. I've forgotten which one I chose. But there was a tiebreaker between the three drum and bass tracks. And Mickey T came through and broke the tiebreaker and picked Bad Thomas. So, Bad Thomas, I'm doing right now, but I'm going to get the other ones recorded as well after this. So then next month it will be Move Me. The month after that it will be Drifting, my remix of Drifting. With Flow Anastasia and Valiant MC, and then the month after that it will be the hip hop track that I've done. I can't remember that. I can't believe that I can't remember the actual track. I'm a bit flustered because I'm just annoyed with myself that I'm having to do this again, but it's cool. We'll get through it, and it will be a lot more structured and probably be a lot quicker, to be fair, than that. But yes, boom. Bad Thomas, it is switched over. Thank fuck for that. And yeah, it's definitely recording. I think. Let me just double check. Yes, it's definitely recording. Cool. So Bad Thomas, let's go in from the start of it. Big love to everybody down at 0121 Recordings. Hold tight Natty D, hold tight Killer Cam for signing this. I'm proper buzzing that it's actually got out because it just came from curiosity about, how one of my favorite artists, Current Value, how he makes his drums and processes his drums and stuff like that. Not watching a masterclass or anything like that, but just getting a peek under the hood by buying one of his sample packs from by the producer, and just getting into how I could replicate, but in my style, his kind of drums. So I found a kick that I really liked out of his pack that he made on Serum. And it's got a bit of that white noise over the top of it, which I've been hearing a lot. So to sort of figure out how he does it, which seems like he's doing it in Serum, but he's adding the noise function to it as well. And he's just got it on so subtly. You can just hear that, which you wouldn't expect from a kick. You wouldn't normally have on a kick, but I really liked it. In terms of processing, I've got some gain on there. I've got bass laid on here, which I will show you why I've put it on what I would call stereo kicks or stereo basses. I'll show you why when it gets to the bass line, because you can hear it a lot more. I've also got Szechuan sauce saturator, which I do put on quite a lot of stuff. It just gives things that extra bit of oomph depending on how much intensity that you have. And then overdrive, which is just a stock plugin, same as the gain tool. It's just a stock distortion plugin, drive plugin in Logic. 2 dB of drive. Jobs are good in getting it sounding nice and punchy and full. Then I've got a Document 1 snare. Really nice snare. Because I didn't just want to build everything from the current value sample pack. Like, that's just boring, really, and too easy. And then I found some AH1 hi-hats, which was bringing it more back to, you know, that sort of paper terry, white noisy style of drums that I've heard. Current value do. Nice, simple. For me, adding my own touch to things, and that I've added an open hat that I made from beatboxing. Do you know what I mean? So now I've just added it to it with some chrome verb. Rolled off the highs, so it's just affecting more of the high mids than the tops, the absolute tops. 18%, not much decay, not much distance on the theatre setting. Nice. Easy, nice, simple. I'm like, right, let's get onto the bass. We need some bass. We need some sub. And like, I'm happy with this now, so I need to start developing it. And that I've also found some another set of hi-hats that I really liked. I took this part out of a loop. Added some duck to it, so it's side chained with the snare. Really deep duck into the hi-hats there, so that helps the snare come through nice and snappy. I know I can use that later on, because obviously this is the drop. So I know I can use that later on to help build progression. Adding extra kicks as I go along, just to keep things interesting. So where am I now? Yep, adding extra kicks as I go along, just to keep things interesting. Then we've got some extra percussion taken from another current value loop. I've just chopped out this extra. Right, I don't even know what it is, but it just sounded cool. I didn't want to use it at first because it was just weird, but then I thought, oh, that could be used as extra percussion. And that, so it's all starting to come together in terms of the drums. We're on to the sub now. I found this really nice sub, bendy sub. Just really nice bendy sub. Really nice. In terms of processing, I've got Szechuan again with pretty high intensity because I really wanted it to be nice and thick. Do you know what I mean? Duck, not much of a duck in terms of side chaining it with the kick, so the kick is just coming through nice and punchy. And that we've got the ADHD tool. I'm laughing because I recently found out that I've got ADHD. But I've got the ADHD audio tools clone of the LA2A tube compressor. That, which is also like a leveling tool as well. Really nice. And I was using this for a bit because it was free. I had some extra controls, but I've actually got the LA2A that it's bass stuff. Hold on, let me get it up. There we go. Yeah, I've actually got the LA2A that it's based off. It's not got as many controls, like this one has got extra compression controls as well as wet dry and that. But to actually have what this is based off, like, is cool. But and I can't use this anymore because it's not been updated in terms of drivers and stuff. So to have the proper one is actually amazing. But I'm using that just to control the peaks for the sub and things like that. Give it a bit of extra boost, a bit of extra drive. And then we're back to bass lane. So when it comes to bass lane, the reason why I use it, this is a stereo bass. And I want to mono it. But at the time, I didn't have like a mono making tool. And I don't always like just pressing the mono switch on here and being done with it. So I ended up getting this bass lane tool. It's free tool from Tone Projects and that. And when you first put it on, this is the default setting for it: 100% width, no no change of 300 hertz on the frequency, no gain, no side harmonics, -6 slope. Classic in terms of the mode. What I ended up doing by accident was taking the width off, and it gave it so much more weight. I was like, wow, like here it is without the plugin on at all. Okay, here it is with the width from baseline. Now here it is with 0% width from baseline. It's not turning up the volume or anything like that. It just gives it a bit more weight for some reason. Mad, isn't it? So I tend to do that a lot. Like if I'm using my ES2 synthesizer for my 808 basses that I've for like an 808 patch that I've made in the ES2, I always end up throwing this on it, and it just gives it that extra bit of oomph, man. Super happy. But then I want to duplicate the whole fizz, the whole white noise thing that's happening on a lot of basses that you're hearing at the moment, as well as at the time when I made this, which was about, I think it was 2021, towards the end of 2021 I made it, maybe 2022, like beginning of 2022, and that I made it. But because it's an audio sample, and that, like, the sample on its own is just, there's no fizz, but because there's a bend on it as well, it would be hard for me to try and replicate that fizz, that white noise fizz bend within Vital, which is what I've got, because I've not got Serum and stuff. So what I thought I would do, duplicate the channel and then mess about with some distortion units, basically, and see what I can come up with. So I've taken off, what did I have on there? Yep, I've taken off the leveling tool. I've taken off bass lane. I've kept duck, but I've added trash 2 from Isotope. And went going through the presets, and I found this charged dub delay. So that's taken it, and it's added some fizz to the actual sub, but I don't want to keep the sub in this duplication, basically. So I've done some EQing, taken out a lot of the lows and mids, taken out the highs, rolled it off to around 6K on the highs, rolled it off to around 2K, say maybe about 800 hertz on the left hand side, and I've got that. But there's still a bit too much in there, plus I'm not feeling the delay. that's ended up happening at the end of it, the tail that it's got. So then I've bounced it down in place, duplicated the EQ onto this again, so it's the same EQ, but it's been affected, bounced down again, so it's taking out all that extraness. Plus I can cut off the actual sample so it doesn't have that trail, that tail from the delay on it anymore. And then with the sub, yeah, man, and I'm proper happy with it. I'm proper happy with how it's coming out. So then how did I get the Train foghorn? So basically with the Train foghorn, because I'd already downloaded the current value sample pack from By the Producer, who me and Madrush also had a vocal pack out with. I had a couple more packs from them, and that there was a Jump Up pack that they'd put out, and it had this sound. I'll take off Trash because I use Trash again. Where are you? There you are. Take off. Oh, what did I have Trash on before? Put you back on that channel. So I've got Trash on here. So take that off so you can hear what it sounds like. I've gone through Trash and I found this preset called Broken Circuit Bent, and it did that to it. I was like, yeah. And it's just added so much more to it. And then if I add Meta Filter as well, which is doing like a sort of LFO filter rate on there. So you've got these two extra functions on the side. Hold on, let me see if I can make this bigger. No, I can't. So you've got these two extra functions, one here at the side of the freak dial, the freak knob, basically. And you can see the LFO is what's making it bounce back and forth, and then the follow slider on the right hand side of the frequency knob, that's what's making it impact. So it bounces back. So it bounces back due to the impact of what's running through it. And that's what's giving it that extra movement. So I've done that as an alternative for later on in the tune. Basically, let me finger you. So on here, you can see no meta filters switched on. Simple. And then the extra fills that I've added, really well known, like bass sound that you hear in a lot of Jump Up. I think it might have been Taxman or Origin Unknown that the first time I heard like this type of sound. And then found, I think it was it? Yeah, 3 different bass loops and just put them all together to make this part. And I think I've ended up time stretching this middle one, which gives it that mad little woo. Now I've got them side chained using Duck as well, which also gives it that extra bit of movement. Really simple, because it's starting to come together, and it sounded like a really odd tune. A really, really odd and eerie tune. And the whole idea of, you know, the train horn sounding like Thomas the Tank Engine being pissed off was starting to formulate and come together. So like at this point, I've got the main body. So what I need to do is find other bits and bobs, not necessarily bass sounds, because the body is full at this point. Do you know what I mean? With the bass sounds, so it's just little intricate sounds and bits that help to sort of drive it along. So when it drops, you know, you've got that. Wasn't happy with that. Need something. So I found this. I thought, yeah, that sounds cool. And then I was like, right, we need something that sort of leads into the boom, boom, boom. So I found this in all of my Atmos samples and that, but I didn't want it to just stop there and that. I wanted to duplicate that. You know, when like a police car or a fire engine like whizzes past you as you're walking down the street, or even like trains, like the train will do the choo choo and like whiz past you, and you hear it, like you hear the siren or the alarm like sort of change tone as it goes past and stuff. So I wanted to duplicate that. So what I did was chopped off the end of this main Atmos drone, board synth it's called, board synth Atmos. Chopped it at the end, put it on a different channel, and added this freak echo delay, Valhalla freak echo. And with this shift function, if you bring it back, it drops down in key. If you bring it to the right and put it, it goes up in key. So then you end up having this effect. Which I just thought sounded cool, especially with the with this. So in context, and it's still dropping down. Like I thought that really helped to like introduce that odd sounding bass into the tune. A little reverse cymbal there just to help bring it into the next section. And there'll be loads of little things that you won't even notice, like this just before the do. You got this little. You won't even notice it, especially because I've got that my open hat going at the same time. So you don't even notice it in the full context of it. But those little things help, do you know what I mean? Especially if you're listening on earphones, you'll hear them in the background. Little bits of ear candy. So it's like, right, no, we're in. Bad Thomas. At this point, I'm like, this is Bad Thomas. This is Bad Thomas the Tank Engine. And that. So I'm like, right, we need to get this intro sorted. We need to get this intro sorted out. Instantly, I start thinking of a tune that sounded like it had trains going over tracks in the intro. Instantly, I thought of this. What a tune. So I'm like, right, no, this is what's got to happen. But at the time, when I had it in my head, I didn't realise that, as you listen then, really it's just percussion noises that they're using. I don't think they actually found a train and sampled the train going over tracks and put it in their tune. But I managed to find a video of trains going over tracks, chopped up some parts of it, and ended up getting this pattern. And you can hear me trying to replicate what Origin Unknown did with Sound in Motion. I'm like, yes, we're cooking now. Right, we need some melody. Cymatics found this. I'm like, oh, that fits with the whole odd eeriness of the track. And like, it almost sounds like Thomas is prowling the streets looking for someone to jack up because he's pissed off, man. Someone's pissed him off. He's bad Thomas now. He's bad Thomas, you know what I mean? But I can hear that Japanese flute. I'm like, nah, that needs to be louder. So found Japanese flute instrument in sampler. You know what I mean? It's like, right, I'll play that in. But then I'll add some little extras in it. So if you look at the actual pattern that I played, these little bits. So I wanted to replicate like how traditional Japanese flute can sound. You have that little. So I tried to replicate that. But then I just thought, I'll just keep the bip, bip. I won't even put it on time. The only one that will be on the grid will be the first one. Just little subtle things, and you will not have noticed that until I told you about it. But you know me, I love my melody, so I had to add in a harmony flute. And then I had to add some textures, so I've got to tell you about this. I love this plugin so much. I don't use it that often, but Kinetic Metal, amazing plugin, mate. Amazing instrument in Contact. It's just metal textures. And you have this whole motion thing that you've got these cogs that go through different textures as they turn. And they do different things. So you've got this for the forge on the left. So that's the forge. So that's this cog crunching through different texture types and stuff like that. But then you've got effects on the right, which also cycles through different effect types, like 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got A, B, C, and D on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right. And you can link them. I didn't link them this time, but I'll just show you what happens with it on, with just the one. And here's it with it linked. Yeah, those madnesses. Just for textures underneath tunes. Absolutely amazing plugin. Let me unlink it. But it's really nice. And again, something that you probably won't even hear in context, but it just adds those little extra bits. Like when I play it and you hear it swing back round this way, back to from C, B, and A, there's like a little that comes in from it. And that's probably the only thing that you'll be able to pick up from this in the full context of the intro. So let me show you what I mean. So you hear it going round, and then you'll hear that hum on the backswing. Really subtle. Amazing plugin. Just for nice underneath textures, subtle things, just to keep it bubbling, fill it out a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Really subtle things just help to like glue the track together. And then all I needed now, since I've got this theme of Bad Thomas being in a bad mood and running amok on the tracks and stuff, I scoured through so many episodes of Thomas the Tank Engine just to find like the train conductor saying Bad Thomas, or getting angry at him, or the narrator saying, oh, Thomas was in a bad mood today, or you know what I mean, something. Could not find anything that could fit, so I went to text to speech, found the right voice and that for it. And thinking about it now, I believe text to speech was AI voice changer before AI like voice changer came out. Do you know what I mean? Because all I needed to do was just type in Bad Thomas, and I got
Bad Thomas.
Add some effects, compression, EQ. Do you know what I mean?
Bad Thomas.
Just sounds fucking cool. And then what I've added as well, just to bring it in so it just doesn't go Bad Thomas before the drop. Chopped up the bad, added the meta filter, and then automated the frequency dial.
Bad Thomas.
And we're in. We're off to a winner. As far as I'm concerned, it's all come together. Just some little edits here and there just to help it, like I said before, give it progression, stop it from feeling repetitive, sounding repetitive, but more feeling repetitive. And we end up with this.
Thomas.
Yeah, man. And that's Bad Thomas, man. I'm kind of glad that I've had to do this video, like, 3 times because I think I've been able to learn how to like cut out the fluff and like get to the important points that people will want to know, hopefully, and want me to explain how I've gotten to certain points and stuff. And with this being majority like audio led in terms of how it's been made, how it's been constructed, which is how I've done things since back using Cubase SX and like Reason, from Reason 2.5 to Reason 4.5, and from Cubase SX to Cubase SX3. That was how I was making stuff. I didn't have the money for simps, you know, hardware and all that kind of stuff. I didn't even have the money for like TI, Virus TI or Massive or anything like that. I just had to use what was in the programs themselves and stuff, you know. And I always found it easier to be able to just look for sounds, especially like coming from college, my college days, where I'd be able to do crash courses on music production, and they would give us sound recorders and tell us to go out and record sounds and then bring them into your door, which would be Cubase at the time or Logic and stuff, and see what you can do to change the sound and make it into something else, make it your own, so to speak. So with that principle in mind, that's why I always go for like not all the sample packs. I try and go for sample packs that not a lot of people have been using, because that's where I'm going to find unique stuff. I still use the like hip hop principle of chopping things up and putting different things together, because again, that's where you find your unique sound, your unique way of doing things, and it can lead to like really interesting tunes like this. Like, especially being a guy that's like led from melody, I never thought I would be making a tune like this, and it's opened up so many more ideas and opportunities for me from being able to execute on an idea like this, you know. So always try new things, always try making different stuff, do you know what I mean? Making different things and that, man, and you'll be able to find new ideas that you can incorporate into what you're doing already, and it will set you apart from everybody else that's out there that's just following the process, doing what everybody else is doing, following the trend, you know. So yeah, thank you. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of your mental health, because you don't know, mental health, good mental health is wealth. And as always, blessings to you all.